In our last video, we got a crash course of some key Agile concepts. In this video, we'll build on that knowledge by looking at a couple of very important Agile terms that we'll come across a lot inside of Jira: stories and epics. So this screenshot is what it looks like when you create a new issue inside of Jira. And quite honestly, this screenshot right here is one of the most common reasons why I get this question from folks who are new to Jira. It's like a task makes sense, reporting a bug in software makes sense, but what are stories and epics? This is just another example of Jira just assuming you already know Agile terms. So let's start with stories. What this is referring to is a concept inside of Agile methodology called user stories. So a user story goes like this. As a insert type of user, I want insert the goal that user wants, so that's the reason the user wants that goal. This is why it's called a user story, because in Agile, a user story follows this basic formula for, well, telling a user story. So here's an example user story. As a website user, I want a dark mode switch so that I can reduce eye strain in low light environments. If you think about it, adding the dark mode functionality requires more than just changing the background color of the website. You have to change all the various font colors, create new icons perhaps, and graphical elements for the site, basically building out a CSS theme that'll get enabled when the user turns on dark mode. Then you have to build the toggle switch itself, and where on your website should that be placed? What will the switch look like? These are all just things that are part of adding a dark mode. Another key thing is remembering what each user's preferences are, because if I'm a user who toggles dark mode and then I close the website, if I come back to the site later, it's just normal to expect that dark mode is still enabled. Can you imagine how annoying it'd be if we had to toggle dark mode every single time we came back to a website? So that's why user stories are a great way to help organize all of this, because in just these examples, we're talking about front-end work to design what the dark mode looks like, and some back-end work to implement the cookies that store user preferences. So instead of trying to break down all the details of everything that's involved in dark mode for your organization's website, a user story like this can save a lot of time while also making sure that everyone is on the same page about what the end user wants. And then as the designer or developer, maybe a little bit of both, it's then your job to figure out the best way to get that done. So here's another example of how flexible user stories can be to help everyone get on the same page and look at things from the end user's point of view. As a homeowner, I want a kitchen faucet with a pull-out spray so that I can easily clean larger dishes. This is obviously a very different industry, but it's another example of how a user story can be helpful to determine what sort of features will help the end user achieve their goal, right? So we can see this example of a kitchen faucet here. Since the story mentions the end user wants to be able to clean larger dishes, when everyone knows that's the end goal, it can be easier to come up with ideas to help the end user do that goal even better. Like this example of a pull-out spray that adds a toggle button for spray modes to help clean dishes easier. As I mentioned earlier, this is more of an Agile term, but since Jira is an Agile tool, that's why you'll find story as the default issue type inside of Jira. Now, to be honest, in my experience, working with a wide range of teams in Jira, not all teams follow that formula every single time. But the goal is to capture what the end user wants. So it's more than just creating a to-do list of tasks, right? Because you're focusing on what is that end goal, which, by the way, Jira also lets you create tasks. So that actually lets you keep the stories as actual user stories separate from the tasks. And we'll learn more about organizing all of these different issue types as we dig into Jira. But before we do that, I wanted to move on to another Agile term that we'll see, and that is the epic issue type. So in a nutshell, if you think of a hierarchical relationship between stories and epics, you'll have epics as the parent and stories as the children. Probably the easiest way to think of epics is like big, massive, epic-sized stories, because Most overall projects that you're doing at work require more than one story. This is especially helpful when your team is working with sprints, where a good rule of thumb is if you have a story that needs to span multiple sprints, you can break it up into multiple user stories and then track them all with an epic. So let's go back to our example of dark mode from before. It's not like dark mode is the entirety of the website. So maybe that story is something that goes into an overall epic for the user settings that we'll build for our web app. And then we can have similar user stories under that epic for things like the settings, right? So like maybe allowing the users to customize their profile picture. And of course, if they have a user account, we'll probably want a place for them to change their login details, like if their password, two-factor authentication, and so on. But all those are very different user stories than the dark mode, but they can be tracked by using an epic altogether if we're putting them all in the same place. So to recap what we learned in this video, when you see a story in Jira, it's referring to a user story. Then user stories can be children of an epic, which helps us track all of our stories efficiently. Now that we're more familiar with some of the Agile concepts that we'll find inside of Jira, there's one more bit of conceptual learning that we'll have to do before we hop into Jira itself, because there are a couple of terms that Jira uses in ways that you might not expect. And they're terms that I found people who are new to Jira are often the most confused about. So we'll clarify all of that in our next video. In this video, we'll clarify what Jira means when it's using the terms issues and projects in the interface, because it's probably not what you think. So let's start with issues, because you might have heard me using it already as we're learning about some of the Agile terms in Jira. For all the data we need to track inside of Jira, they are stored in issues. They are the core way to do that because issues contain all your fields. Fields are straightforward, exactly what you would think of, like due dates, labels, the description, and so on. One of my favorite ways to explain issues is to think of them like the sticky notes we're going to put on the whiteboard to track our work, right? The note itself is really just a container. You can write any sort of information that you want on it. And then you can take that to the next level and start to introduce different colored sticky notes to help you organize them better. Now, if you think of each sticky note like it's an issue in Jira, you can do the exact same sort of thing to help organize your issues. In an earlier video, we learned about stories, and then another default issue type in Jira are tasks and bugs, not insects. But remember, we also learned Jira's origins are in software development, so these are software bugs. Later in the course, we'll learn how we can actually create our own custom issue types, but Jira comes with some of these pre-installed. And then just like you can write whatever you want on the sticky notes that contain all your data, in Jira, these issues contain fields which we can configure in Jira to be different depending on the issue type. So maybe on our stories, we've got a simple summary, description, and who it's assigned to. But then maybe for bugs, we want to track the operating system and the browser where the bug was found. And for our tasks, maybe we need to add a due date and priority level so that we can track those. All of this is customizable, of course, but it gives you an idea for what Jira means when it's talking about issues and how you can have different fields on different issues. And that brings us to projects. As I mentioned earlier, projects in Jira are not really what you think of when you think of a project at work. By that, what I mean is that when you start a new project at work, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to start a new project in Jira. So maybe we'll have a project for our web app that includes both stories and bugs, so those can get reported. But our marketing team doesn't need bugs in their project, so maybe instead we'll have stories and tasks for them. And then one of the benefits of organizing it this way is what we just learned earlier. Those different issue types can contain different fields. One of the reasons for that is because inside the project is where you determine the types of issues that you'll have. Now, if you look at this example, the story issue type in the web app project has a due date field that the marketing team's story issue type doesn't track because maybe they don't need that field. So it's just extra for them. Of course, We'll see a lot more of this as we dig into Jira itself, but hopefully you're already starting to see how powerful this sort of organization really is. So to recap what we learned in this video, issues are the containers for information, the data that we want to track in Jira. Then projects are the containers for the issues.
If you're not a subscriber, click down below to subscribe so you get notified about similar videos we upload. To see the full course that this video came from, click over there. And click over there to see more videos from Simon Says It.